We are now launching Operation Lion's Roar. We are doing this in full cooperation with our friends in the United States.
Since the Americans' bases are scattered in different places in the region, perhaps the whole region would be engaged.
And we begin tonight with 3 letters for you, WTF. That apparently was the U.S. response to Israeli military action over the weekend, an action that took the United States by surprise, and it left many of us wondering just how closely the U.S. and Israel are actually coordinating strategy in this now week-old war against Iran. You see, over the weekend, Israel took the fight against Iran to a whole new level, striking 30 Iranian oil refineries across the entire country, causing scenes, well, like this one here. Apocalyptic level fires throughout the country, massive plumes of smoke, fire in the very streets as burning fuel leaked into the sewage system. Now pollution and acid rain across Iran and Central Asia are threatening massive health consequences. Families that we claimed we were there to liberate right now are breathing in massive toxins as black rain is falling from the sky. The attack was so surprising and unprecedented that even super neocon in chief Senator Lindsey Graham asked the Israelis to show some restraint, and that is saying something. That's because even someone as rabidly obsessed with war as Lindsey Graham understands that actions can sometimes have consequences. You see, Israel has just given Iran legitimate reason to respond in kind. Yes, strikes on Iran's oil facilities hurt, and they hurt badly. But they mostly hurt the people of Iran, not the regime. But you know who else they hurt if Iran decides to do the exact same thing? How about Saudi Arabia? How about the UAE, Qatar, Kuwait, the entire Gulf region, all the countries that have up until now been strong allies of the United States and whose economies depend almost 100% on their ability to sell oil on the global market. Here we can see one of Bahrain's oil refineries already burning after an Iranian strike. In fact, the troubling news about the world's oil and natural gas supply is coming in so hot and heavy right now, it's almost hard to keep up with. Saudi Arabia now cutting production at 2 of its oil fields. And with the Strait of Hormuz shut down, almost all the Gulf states have to some degree or another cut their production or cancel contracts with clients throughout Europe and Asia. And the result of all this has been chaos on the oil markets, with oil hovering between $110 and $120 per barrel. This morning, by the way, oil dropped about 15% at the beginning of the day when it was reported that the EU would release between 300 and 400 million barrels from their critical reserves.
But in terms of oil in reserve and in strategic reserve, that's correct. There is a lot of oil available. It's just whether or not those strategic reserves would be tapped. And we heard last week Japanese refiners were pushing their government to try to go forward with tapping some of their reserves. But this sort of action by governments works best in chorus, which is why it makes sense that the FT is reporting that they're going to be discussing this. The U.S., according to the FT, is for that plan, along with 2 other G7 members. And we'll find out more later as that comes closer. But I think there is worry in the market that there is no end in sight for the what's happening in the Middle East, the war in Iran. And as long as there's no end in sight, the idea that the Strait of Hormuz, which is a vital waterway for 20% of seaborne oil and fuel products, that's going to remain shut, and that's going to cause a strain on the markets, prices, and consumers.
See, but oil reserves have limits, and already the United States gas prices have risen 43 cents in just a week. 43 is a trend which, if continues, could spell doom for the GOP in the midterms. Meanwhile, in the UK, they only have 2 days of stored gas reserves, sparking long lines at gas stations there. As big of a deal as they are, though, let's set oil prices aside for a minute, because there is other bad news coming out of that region. Data centers are now being struck throughout the Gulf, threatening global markets and the internet. And there is more. See, there is a terrific analysis on X that breaks down all these issues and how they're connected, from data centers to EV batteries. They're all interconnected with oil. One word for you: sulfur. Take a look. Here's what happens when 20 million barrels of oil per day disappear. 92% of the world's sulfur comes from oil and gas refining. Sulfur leads to sulfuric acid, and without it, you can't extract copper, cobalt, and nickel. Without those metals, no transformers, no EV batteries, no data center substrates, no electronics, period. See, this is why everything about this war is so much worse than what the administration seems to have prepared for. They were not prepared for a prolonged conflict. They were not ready for Iran to shut down the Strait of Hormuz. They are absolutely not ready for this war to drag on until September. They are not ready for $150 to $200 a barrel oil. The U.S. isn't ready, the world isn't ready, but it appears as if Iran is.